families, welcome back once again. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If this is your first time, my name is Mamli and you are very welcome to join this amazing family. To my returning and my new families, thank you so much for your time, your contributions on this channel, your super chat, my queens and kings. Thank you. I normally say this at last, but in case you haven't watched up to the end, I'm just telling you, I'm grateful. This video, to those who understand French, has already seen it. It was last night that this video was broadcast. I was doing live here and I said a lot of things are going on. When I finished, I decided not to look at it because otherwise I can't sleep. So I started working on it this morning. And for me not to waste your time, family, embrace yourself before you listen to this video. I'll be back. Thank you so much.
For several months now, our intelligence services, in collaboration with those of the Alliance of Sahel States, have been closely monitoring a vast network of destabilization orchestrated from outside, whose internal ramifications threaten our national sovereignty. We would like to share with you the facts that illustrate the scale of these maneuvers, and the resolute action taken to counter them. The Burkinabe public and the international community are aware that individuals residing in the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire have been active in a subversive campaign against our country. Supported by the intelligence services of certain Western powers, these actors of chaos include civilians of various backgrounds, as well as current and former military personnel. Having left the country to take part in propaganda and destabilization operations. Thanks to our constant monitoring, we have thwarted several destabilization attempts. As bad as constant. Faced with these repeated failures, these lawless individuals opted for yet another plan. This umpteenth plan consisted, on the one hand, of signing a contract with terrorist groups dubbed the Centrals and, on the other, of providing them with specific training in the Central Eastern Zone for the taking of targets that were advised in their contract. It would first carry out violent actions against innocent civilians, then in the second place, attack not only institutions of the Republic, but also several other sensitive points. The first precursor to this operation was the attack on Barca, on Saturday, August 24, 2024, which involved the massacre of as many civilians as possible. To create disarray and chaos among these populations, and thereby undermine the entire nation. Facilitating the execution of the main action, the plan called for the infiltration of several terrorist groups. The first group tasked with carrying out the main action from August 29, 2024 was made up of 150 terrorists from the Central East. They were to head for the Sapui zone and then move up to Ouagadougou with a view to taking the Presidential Palace 6 at Koulouba, while the second group was to attack the military drone base to prevent our forces from retaliating. The third group, from Côte d'Ivoire, aimed to carry out attacks in the Mangodara area to disperse our fighting forces. Auto groups should target the airport to block any outside reinforcements, including the landing of any friendly aircraft. During investigations, our intelligence services were alerted to the arrest of two suspicious individuals without identity papers at a checkpoint at the entrance to the city of Niamey, on August 29, 2024. After rigorous questioning, they revealed that they were accompanied by a certain Akuchi, who had already passed through 10 checkpoints. The latter was arrested later the following day, August 30, 2024, at the Rimbad station in Niamey, as he tried to escape. Identity checks revealed that Akuchi was none other than Major Ahmed Kinda, former head of the Special Forces Corps. Normally supposed to be on a training course in Morocco, he turned out to be the head of operations for all these sadly planned attacks. The two suspects turned out to be two terrorist leaders named Ousmane Abdoulaye and Amadou Idrissa. All these arrests have enabled us to unravel a large part of the plot, and to better understand the maneuvers aimed at destabilizing our nation. They were later transferred to Burkina Faso. A special anti-terrorist operation was immediately launched in connection with these destabilization projects. Initial investigations revealed that the plot was orchestrated by Burkinabe nationals living abroad, including Mr. Aziz Diallo, former mayor and deputy of Dori. Currently working in the Central African Republic for an international organization. He is one of the alleged masterminds of this conspiracy under the name of Elbo Ahmed Le Centro. He is in contact with an Islamic State terrorist group in the Greater Sahara and GS through one of his uncles based in the town of Dori. 2. Mr. Usman Mumni Raouni Diallo, uncle of Mr. Aziz Diallo, U.G.S. veteran, former coordinator of negotiations with the terrorist group under the former president of Amoeba. Mr. Aziz Dabo, ex-agent of the National Intelligence Agency ANR, on the run, known as Elbo Lionel. Cat, Monsieur Abdoulaye Berry, codenamed Le Voyageur, is the link between the Western powers, the terrorists and the military. 5. A certain Serge Mathurin, a Nigerian journalist of Ivorian origin, representing Le Voyageur in Niger. He gave shelter to Kamana Ahmed Kinda on the night of August 29, 2024 to enable him to escape, and should also facilitate the infiltration of the entire commando into eastern Burkina Faso. Mr. Abdoulaye Berry had asked him to keep 4 Taraya satellite phones with him, for use in fatal operations. 6. Mr. Jibril Yipane Basole, former Minister of Foreign Affairs of Burkina Faso. 7. Mr. Newton Ahmed Berry, former President of Seni. 8. Mr. Alpha Berry, former Minister of Foreign Affairs of Burkina Faso. 9. Commandant François Zougrana, alias César 10. Commandant Herman Zongo, who provided information on the positions of aerial vectors and army movements 11. Major Joanny Comparer, former Managing Director of Sanabi, who was looking for kamikaze drones 12. Colonel Zala, working in the United Nations system in the Central African Republic. Weighs in on Lieutenant Colonel Paul-Henri Sandago Damiba, aka the Patriarch, who heads up the military side of this plot. 14. Lieutenant Colonel de Romeo Wuba, alias Rodriguez, who is head of the Operations Center in Accra. 15. Several other officers outside the country who are still under investigation. This destabilizer, in collaboration with accomplices inside the country, carried out massive disinformation campaigns and used occult practices to sow confusion and division. Several marabouts were consulted by Mr. Abdoulaye Berry, alias Le Voyageur, who was helped by Chief Sergeant Tendinot, alias Taylor, a former Special Forces operative who was later arrested by our intelligence services. The latter recruited elements for destabilization operations. He also made contact with his father, a marabout well known in the Bogande area, to ensure that the terrorists' infiltration went smoothly. Following the arrest of Commander Ahmed Kinda, alias Akuchi, and the 2 terrorist leaders. Initially, it was agreed not to divulge the information, so that our services could discover the full extent of the network. The intercepted communications revealed the involvement of several economic operators in the plot. Recordings of these communications will be released to the public in the coming days. Other civil society leaders taking part in the exchanges via a WhatsApp group called IB Dégagé are also involved in this vast undertaking. Most planning meetings were held in Ghana, in the Ashimoda district, at the Jeed Lodge Hotel in Accra. Some other meetings were held in Tamale in the presence of Monsieur Abdoulaye, alias Le Voyageur, and Lieutenant Colonel de Romeo Wuba, alias Rodriguez. At a second stage, it was agreed that Major Ahmed Kinda, alias Akuchi, Staff Sergeant Tendano, and the 2 terrorist leaders, accompanied by one of our teams, show us the storage site for their various equipment and materials. The site, under the guard of terrorists in the commander's pay, was located not far from the town of Tenkodogo. Once there, they tried to escape, but exchanges of fire ensued, during which they and several other terrorists were neutralized. The other destabilizers, far from abandoning their cunning enterprise, have decided to fine-tune a new plan at a meeting scheduled to take place in Nigeria on September 27, 2024. For them, it will involve recruiting new terrorists in Switzerland, recruiting 500 mercenaries from a European country for large-scale attacks in Ouagadougou. Spreading terror. In keeping with their predictions, they decided to kill anyone who opposed their actions, referring to the population in the event of a revolt. So, to protect their families and loved ones from any public reprisals against them, they decided that each of them exfiltrate his family and loved ones before the start of their operation. Thanks to the information we've gathered, we've been able to identify the participants scheduled to attend this upcoming coordination meeting in Nigeria, which should include 1 Major Ahmed Kinda, alias Akuchi, 2 Mr. Abde Berry, alias Le Voyager, you the former DG. Adjoint de Law, NR disbarred from the National Armed Forces, Mr. Odrao Sekou. Romeo Wuba's Utna Colonel, alias Rodriguez, as well as people from sister country Nigeria, are involved in this sinister enterprise. All of them should join forces with Mr. Gabriel Guy Penet Basole and certain elements of Western intelligence services, on the strength of this proven information and in view of the extreme seriousness of these acts. Maintaining the special operation was decided to neutralize anyone trying to sow chaos in our country. Firm instructions have been given to hand over to the Burkinabe Intelligence Service all the files initially referred to the courts, so that the hearings can resume. We advise the families and loved ones of these terrorists to denounce them, dissuade them from continuing down this destructive path, and formally renounce any subversive action. The families and loved ones of these terrorists are advised to denounce them, dissuade them from continuing in their destructive ways, and formally renounce any subversive action. Playtime is over. I repeat, playtime is over.
Thank you, families, for your time. A lot of things are going on in my mind right now, as I know you as well, and I can't begin to say anything because this video will be too long. Please share it so others will hear what is going on. The protest has been arrested. They are going to face court. I don't know. Maybe there will be different lawyers there or the same ones. I don't know. But they are being arrested. If you come across this video and you know someone who is plotting or you are one of them, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Is it money you want? Is it power that you want? What do you want? Please, can you please stop it before it's too late? Other countries are trying to have peace. What is wrong with you? It's about time we stop blaming others. Credit to RTB for sharing this with us. Families, I will leave you here. Please leave your own opinion under the comment section. Like I said, share it so it will go. Their names are there. People will know them, will know their families. Let's disgrace them.